that the goals for digital transformation don't start or end with any one person within the organization. It's something that companies embrace from the top on down. And so the CIO, of course, plays an incredibly important role in that. But today, I think that, when it comes to technology, technology is the business. Okay, it's not part of the business. Technology is everything about the business and drives everything about the business and the business's ability to meet its goals, to grow, to innovate, to succeed. So because of that, the CIO has to play a fundamental role in that.
To a lot of the businesses I work with, they're not seeing what a transformation really means to them until you show them.
Right.
So they see us as sometimes a speed bump in the way of getting things done, but sometimes they see us as their partner. And I think a digital transformation, I think we should start by defining what we mean, because people use the word digital to mean almost anything. We're going to digitize a process. And so that's digital optimization. That's better, faster, cheaper. Digital transformation, which I think you and I would agree on, is changing the culture, the market, the products, the customer experience, the employee experience using technology.
And certainly there are many CIOs who are working in a more legacy model. But the reality of it is today, not only do CIOs and everyone else at the very top and boards, at the top level of business have to understand and be champions for this adaptation of business. CIOs have to play a role in it, and they have to play a key role in it. But I think that in most evolved companies, what we're seeing is that CIOs are less about, I've got my pad and my note pen, or, hey, something's broken, send somebody up from IT to fix it, to actually sitting at the strategy table and playing a fundamental role in conversations about the future of the business and, how we stay relevant and profitable and successful. My answer is yes.
Yeah.
All of those things. None of this can happen without the CIO. And actually, what we've seen too is we've seen an evolution. We have a CIO, we have chief security officers, we have chief data officers, we have chief digital officers. We have all of these different roles that are springing up within an organization. And now more than ever, it's critical, I think, that operations not be siloed and that all these different departments and focuses be very tightly connected and all contributing when it comes to management decisions and strategic decisions.
Well, yeah, Shelley, you and I agree on that as well. We've got to break down the silos, especially if they're silos among techies. If the chief security officer and the chief information officer and the chief digital officer and the chief data officer aren't working together, the company's probably doomed. I also see IT being used to break down silos in legacy companies. My clients, and most of them are very traditional companies in transportation and construction. They're not East Coast, West Coast. They're flyover country, been around 20, 30, 40, 150 years even. And they're trying to wrestle with, how do I go from delivering a physical product to delivering the augmented product with information built in, wrapped around, or maybe extracted from the process they've been running for forever. And so how do we break down the silos within that company so that marketing is talking to sales, talking to operations, because we have to deliver a capability, an IoT capability that marketing wants to be involved in, but operations needs to be able to operate after IT goes and builds it. And so I think departments have to work more closely together because the data is moving from silo to silo to silo much more quickly than it has before.
I've been doing this for a really long time, and change is very difficult. And the bigger the ship, the harder it is to turn. And so when you can say, and all of these things that are happening today and that are possible today, sometimes it gets to be a little overwhelming. Where do I start? What do I do? Do I use hybrid cloud? Do I use public cloud? Do I use a combination? Do I, whatever, private cloud, all that. But it can be overwhelming, and it can also be, you know, we have these legacy systems, we've invested all this money in this, can we really move to the cloud? What's security like? How does this change operations? So many questions. So when you can do something, you know, figure out what's our lowest hanging fruit, what can we have some immediate successes with, how can we show people that this works, it's awesome, it's going to deliver on these fronts. And so I think that really understanding the role that cloud and automation can play and doing those things in little bits and pieces are part of the path to success and getting some of that adoption that we need to move this forward.
One of my colleagues coined a phrase that I've been using for 20 years. He said it's about patch, then polish, then perfect. If it's broken, we patch it. If it makes people mad, we polish it. That gives us time and money to perfect it. And
Right.
that's the strategy I've always taken.
In addition to that, it's understanding that the people are always the most important part of this equation. Technology is not the answer to embracing digital transformation and moving your company into the future. It's really all about how our people, what kind of culture we've created. Have we created a culture where people embrace change and an atmosphere of continuous learning? And are they excited about innovation? And if not, what are you doing to get them there? Because that's really the key to any kind of successful implementation of technology and digital transformation in general, I think.
So it's not about technology, as you said, it's about serving the needs of the people who serve our customers.